Now, I'm very excited to introduce our new section to our TNB XPO program, which is our Provocation. We have a Provocation lecture today called Rises from the Ashes. We should see, yes. It's Screening with the Enemy, curated in a hostile environment. And we are very honoured to have this led by the great Charmaine Simpson. Yes, don't hold back. She is an absolute stalwart for the community, a vanguard for protecting Black history and making sure our children, our communities, and just mainstream society gets to understand the value of Black British contribution. So without any further ado, without any further delay, I can't get my words out, I'm going to welcome Charmaine Simpson to the stage, co-founder of Black History Studies. Round of applause once again for this queen.
Greetings, everyone. Hope you can see me over this lectern. When they were designing me, they made me small. So, greetings, everyone. So before I start, I'd just like to say a big thank you to the New Black Film Collective team and all the sponsors and all the staff that have been working on this amazing event. So my name is Charmaine Simpson. I represent also the New Black Film Collective as a long-standing board member and also long-term supporter of the New Black Film Collective, and also co-founder of Black History Studies, which we've been running in this country for a number of years, which I'll talk about in a moment. So let's make sure this works. Excellent. So what are Black History Studies? So Black History Studies was an organisation that was created about 18 years ago in this country as a result of some of the conversations that we were having in the community. People were saying that there was an opportunity to learn about their history. They saw their contribution to world history erased or silenced or not spoken about. And instead of writing a petition and get angry, we decided to create an organisation to actually tell the story for ourselves. Yeah, by any means necessary. So we don't just operate in Black History Month. We've been teaching Black history for a number of years, from January right to December. And that's how big our Black History Month is. So we've been teaching Black history and Black studies globally, internationally, all over the world. We do this via different ways. We do this via film screenings, which we're going to talk about in a moment. We do courses, we do museum tours, we take groups abroad internationally. We've been taking groups all around the world. On Friday, I'm taking a group to Brussels to look at the Black history in Brussels, because a lot of people don't believe that we have a Black history in Europe, and we have lots of history all over the world, because we are global African people. So our tagline is educating the community to educate themselves. So what we like to do is give you some information, encourage you to go and do your own discoveries, do your own research, and also tell your unique stories as well. And this is why one of the reasons why I love using film to tell stories. Okay. So, like I said, created in March of 2007. Dedicated to teaching the community, and we have had a wonderful time in our organisation, working with partners all over the world, showing films, educating people, not just Black community, all communities, anybody that's breathing, because we believe that Black history is the missing pages of world history. Do you agree? Yeah? And Black history should be learnt by all people. Okay, and Black history, and people think that Black history is being decisive. No, it's not. We have brought people from all communities together, and regardless whether they're from the Black community or not, Black history can bring people together. History can bring people together, and history is very important in creating community engagement, community cohesion. Okay, because if one story is being told and another story is being neglected, there's a gap in learning. And I'm a type of person, you'll see me at learning about Irish history, I'll learn about European history, I learn about all histories, because I actually love history and telling stories, okay? So, and also, we've worked with many partners and cinemas. One of the cinemas that I love to work with is Lexi Cinema in the area of Brent, because I grew up in Brent, and I love that area. And we literally just ran our James Baldwin at 100 Film Festival, which was sponsored by Film London as well. And if it wasn't for Film London and my colleague Tony Ades encouraging us to actually show films, we probably wouldn't have been film exhibitors, okay? Because most people that I know, we didn't go to film school. I did not go to film school, but I got involved in showing off films and being a film exhibitor. And I've been doing that for a number of years. Okay, so we have our own community cinema program that we've been running successfully for a number of years. This is one of our screenings that we used to hold at, where is this? Hackney Attic, okay, in the Picture House in Hackney. And we've been showing films. We started off in a meeting room in the Public and Commercial Services Union building in Victoria. We expanded to different areas. I linked up with Film London and used to go to their exhibitors, events, and finding out all the wonderful areas of film, because this was very new to me, and started showing films in cinemas and approaching cinemas. Okay, and I'll talk about my experiences of doing that as well, and also spaces like Hackney Attic as well. So what we do is, at Black History Studies, we like to find stories of the Black experience. Films that won't necessarily be shown in the mainstream. So usually at night time when I should be in my bed, I'm at home searching through all the different film exhibitors and finding film producers that want to have a platform to show their films. So we've shown films like Out of Darkness, Hidden Colours. We launched that in this country. We've shown many of films talking about the Black experience and Black icons in history. And what we like to do is use that way of bringing the community together. And it's very important that we do that. And we always have a Q&A session. That is the part I love when we show films. It's the actual discussion after the film. Because everybody engages in a film differently. Yeah? My husband's a sound person. He's a musician. So he's listening to the sound, listening to the music. Yeah? I hate going concerts with him because I'm like, just enjoy the concert. Because he's just worrying about the sound levels. Any sound people in here? Yeah, yeah. So you're worrying about the film and the sounds, where I'm just like, just dance and have fun. No, he's worrying about the levels of the sound. But even everybody engages in this film and engages in the story differently as well. And some people have a personal connection with the film that's actually shown. And I absolutely love what I do, bringing communities together and showing films. I show films of Black Russians, and people are like, Black Russians? Russia? Black people? What are you doing in Russia? There's a whole history of Black Russians and the whole history. And I remember one time I was going on in Ukraine and I showed that film. People was like, curious, I didn't know there was a Black history in Russia. There's a Black history globally. Yeah? There's even Irish community in Jamaica. Seaford Town. Yeah? Oh no, not Irish community, German ancestry. I've got German ancestry. Yeah? And there's a German town in Jamaica, and there was a film that I found, and people's like, Germany? Jamaica? They don't know the connection. So we're trying to educate people about these amazing connections through history. Okay? And also talk about issues and subjects that are relevant to the community, whether it's poverty, economics, whether it's spirituality, even comedy we show. Okay? Because we need to laugh as well. Okay? It's not always about the heavy stuff. Enslavement and colonization, but we can have some of the joyful programs as well. And I love comedy as well, so I love showing comedic films. So what I'm going to be doing in this short presentation, and Priscilla gave me 45 minutes, and she knows I can chat for Jamaica and England, so I'm going to keep to time. Okay, so I'm going to talk about systemic and structural challenges faced by the Black film exhibitors in the UK, with a focus on the last 10 years. I'm going to talk about the fragility of Black-led film festivals, screenings and cultural programs, highlighting key initiatives that have ceased to exist over the past decade. And we're going to have a conversation, okay, about some of the challenges. And I will talk about some of the challenges that we've had over the years. And I'm coming from my personal experiences and what I've seen and experienced for myself, okay, being a film exhibitor for a number of years, okay, and working with other film exhibitors as well, okay. So, ready? Yeah. Okay, so one of the film festivals that I want to talk about is this film festival called the Images of Black Women Film Festival. Anybody heard of it before? I can't even see anybody. Anybody, if you've heard of this film festival before, raise your hands. Most of you are young in here. Yes, lots of young, beautiful. Oh, I can see everybody now, beautiful faces. Welcome. So, this was a film festival dedicated to black women. Okay? And I worked with Savian Rano for a number of years. If you go research, you'll see my face in introducing films. It was held at Tricycle Theatre in Kilburn. Anybody remember Tricycle? It's changed now. I don't think it's there no more. And it was an amazing film festival. Okay, trying to give representation to films about black women or films made by black women, especially in the UK. Okay, as being a historian, majority of the time when we look at history and look at stories, majority of the male stories overpowers the female stories. Yeah, and oftentimes we don't know about these stories. So she created a film festival, which ran for about 10 years, up until 2016. And I remember she was showing these films, and one day I saw a Facebook post, and it was like, no, this is being cancelled, or it's going to be postponed. And I was like, what's going on? And I contacted her, and what had happened, the venue had said that she had to go for all the films that she was showing. So remember, independent film festival, self-funded, limited budget, had to put all of these films through is it the film classification? Now imagine you've got about 16 films. How much is that going to cost? That's going to cost a lot of money. And unfortunately, she didn't have the funds at the time. She was seeking sponsorship, and anybody that knows the struggles that you have to go through just to get sponsorship to show a film or actually fund your work, it's a lot of work to do, because all these 25-page funding applications that you'll complete long before ChatGPT was here. Yeah? We have to be truthful. It takes a long time. And a lot of people who are film exhibitors are not doing film exhibiting full time. They are working, raising their families, and they're doing this work because they love the work. They're doing it as passion. They're not doing it for profit. They just want to be able to cover their costs so they can actually deliver another film festival the following year. Okay? And after a while, she decided that, you know what, it's not financially viable for me. The effort that I have to put in to do this film festival is not going to be, I'm not able to do this community justice. And she closed this film festival, which is a shame. Okay? Because she was amazing. She would get lots of people coming into the space, audience development, all these things that these funders like to see. She was doing that as a self-funded film exhibitor. Okay? So you can see some of the challenges I'm speaking about, and this was exhibited through the Images of Black Women's Film Festival in the UK. Okay? And then you also got other film festivals like Film Africa. Anybody know about Film Africa? No? Few people? Okay. So you have Film Africa. They had a film festival that they would show films from African filmmakers. Locating these filmmakers to show these films. However, but the people that were involved with this were not representative of Africa. Yeah? You've got other people telling our stories but not involving the people that you're exhibiting about. And that's an issue. Yeah? Having this National Geographic lens of filmmaking and not involving the people that are represented in the showing of films. And I'm a big believer in diversity. Trump can move, but I'm a big follower of diversity. You need to have diverse voices, yeah? Because you can add unique elements to a film festival, a film screening, a discussion panel. It's so important that we have a mixture of people that are contributing to these film festivals. And there are so many films being produced that may not even get a platform in this country if it wasn't for film festivals like this. Okay? So we have to try and support them by any means necessary so they can tell those unique stories. So we can support emerging filmmakers to have a platform, especially in the UK. Because it can be very hard to get a film shown in the UK if you don't know who to go to. Okay? Especially when you're trying to get through to certain cinemas, you don't know who the person is. Even to get screening rights for certain films, I've had to translate German, all kind of stuff, just to get to the right person to show a film. Yeah, but I love doing it. But it can be a challenge if you're not a full-time film exhibitors, and like I said, the majority of people are not. Okay. And then another one, which is recently upset me because I was part of African Odyssey. Yeah, I was part of that film group that would come together to usually it was like once every couple of months to come and sit down and work out what films we'll show. I stopped doing it because I stopped going to the meetings because at the time I was having my babies and it was just getting too much to leave the children and take them on the train to go to these meetings. But I would still contribute and send people and promote the program. So BFI African Odyssey is something that's personal to me because I saw amazing films at that African Odyssey film program that I probably would never have seen. Okay, anybody know the film Besouro? Anybody know the Brazilian film called Besouro? If you don't know that film, go and Google it. Go on YouTube, it's on there. That film was my favorite film. It was about a Brazilian fighter who was telling a story about capoeira. Yeah, it combined African spirituality. It had an amazing black lead. It was just an amazing film. I watched that at African Odyssey. I also watched a film called Cuban African Odyssey, which talked about the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. Okay, and I've never heard of Patrice Lumumba before I went to that screening. And I remember watching that screening, taking down the name and going to do my own research. Hence the reason why we have a Black History Tour of Brussels. Because that is all part of that journey. And films can inspire people to make change. And this is what African Odyssey did. Okay? And this film program, film festival, was set up in 2007 by Tony Warner of Black History Walks. If you don't know about him, write his name down, go and search and look at the work that he does. He's my brother in liberation. Yeah, and Tony Warner has been working tremendously hard with David Somerset, who was the lead person at BFI, to show this film festival. Okay, and they wanted to bring together all the film exhibitors into a space so they can show films, to get some information from them and support this idea of showing a black film festival at BFI. Okay. And the idea was to give a singular home to those films, advise and help the BFI show African diaspora content and bring underserved black audience to the venue. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, if you're not from a film school or from a film background, going to places like BFI Southbank is unheard of. But on a Saturday, you will see hundreds of black people turn up to watch a film. Has anybody been to African Odyssey? Anybody been? A few people? Okay. Before it was there. I would love going there because it's like family reunion for me. And I see everybody, all right, see, how are you doing? It was a nice event to go to and watch a film, listen to a discussion and showing films that probably I would not get to show. Because the screening rights, I couldn't get the screening rights or the screening rights were too expensive. But they would show these amazing films. Okay? And African Odyssey definitely helped with the film audience and audience development. Because I don't think, if it wasn't for African Odyssey, half of the people would not be in that space. And we need to take up space. Yeah, we are tax, as Charlie Phillips, who is also part of the movement, he would say in his Jamaican verb, we are taxpayers. We are paying tax, which is funding that organization. But we're not represented in that space. Okay? So we were promoting and supporting this film festival. And then, like I said, it was co-founded by Tony Warner and others, and you can see the numbers. Yeah? Certain films, you make sure you book your ticket fast, because you ain't going to get a ticket. If you know the film, and that film sounds sexy, you know, book your ticket fast. Yeah? Because that ticket will sell out. And that is NFT 1. So that's the big cinema screening. Yeah? And they will have people come out on a Saturday. Get on the train to come and watch a film with other people. And there was a very diverse audience, yeah, consuming African diaspora content. And then you got one of the films that I personally supported in this country called Hero. If you haven't seen that film, watch that film. Absolutely brilliant. Okay? And people would come out and support the films. Young, old, all colours and dominations represented. Beautiful film screening. Then I got an email talking about they wanted to cancel African Odyssey. All of a sudden I'm thinking, what is going on? This film festival has been successful. one of the most successful film festivals I know, and they decided that they want to cancel the film festival after 17 years. After 17 years. And what BFI had done was have a meeting with them, give them that false hope that, yeah, we're going to be planning for our 18th year celebration, but behind the scenes they were planning to cancel the film festival. Okay? And they were understandably upset. Why is this film festival being cancelled? And they asked for a meeting with the management of BFI, okay? And they refused to meet with the crew. They refused to meet with them. Now, you're working with I like to build relationships with people. If you're working for somebody for 17 years and they ask for a meeting, why disrespect the people that are supporting your organization and refuse to have a meeting with them? And poor Tony was been asking for meetings for them. They refused to have a meeting. They sent a petition out which has 17,000 signatures. You know how hard it is to get people to complete a petition nowadays? 17,000 people signed that petition. Okay? And even though almost 17,000 now people have signed that petition, they still refuse to meet with the group. Still refuse to meet with the group. Didn't give them the respect of even sitting down with them in a room to have a conversation. I think that's very highly disrespectful of BFI. Yeah? Tell them I said it. Yeah? Very disrespectful. Working with somebody, imagine working with somebody for 17 years and you can't even have a conversation, sit down in a room and have a conversation. To let people know the reason why you're even cancelling that film festival. Okay? And they let David Somerset, so David Somerset was the anchor between the group and BFI, and they decided to let him go after 17 years. Yeah? And oftentimes, and if anybody has organize any events, usually you have a key person. When they leave, you see everything start to crumble. Am I lying? No. Yeah? You have a key person. Once that person starts leaving, all of a sudden, nobody wants to take on that work and they can get rid of it. Okay? In these times where cinemas are struggling with people to come through their doors, and you've got a film festival called African Odyssey that would bring people, have sold out screenings, and you're going to cancel them in these times? What is that saying to you? What's that saying to us as black film exhibitors? That we're expendable, we can just be thrown away, and not even given the respect to even have a conversation. Okay? So you can see I'm not happy. Yeah? Because these things happen too much times. Okay? So let's talk about the challenges. I don't know if I've overspoken my time, but I've got to talk to the people and let you know these are some of the things that we go through as film exhibitors. Everybody all right? Yes. All right. So some of the key issues that I tend to find that many of us as film exhibitors experience. Okay. So obviously funding. Okay. Limited access to funds, or if you do go for the funding, you get part funding or not the funding that you go for. You've got application forms that you have to learn how to be a fundraiser, which may not be your skill set, okay? And that can give you some challenges, okay? Staff costs, operational costs, sometimes you don't even make a profit, but you're happy that you're actually created an event, okay? And also, might be difficult to actually secure some of the big funding streams, okay? Compared to if a cinema chain or a established organization in film goes for funding, they probably get it more than the little smaller film exhibitors, okay? And this is why I got enough love for New Black Film Collective and the work that they do supporting film exhibitors all over the UK and abroad, okay? Also, distribution access. Now, you've got to try and track down some of these funding rights for certain films, okay? Or, in my case, when you want to show a film and then you're like, oh, damn, Netflix has got it. Don't hate Netflix. I love Netflix, but trust me, there's times when I want to show a film, but Netflix got it. Okay. Also, sometimes distributors don't see the value in what you contribute. They see you as really small. Okay, and they don't have the confidence in you when you want to show a film. But you know what you can do. You can connect that film to the people. Yeah, which most big cinemas and film exhibitors can't. Okay, so these are some of the issues that we have as film exhibitors. Audience development. Okay, so for example, if you have a niche film, you might need to go to, or it's a film about a story related to, for example, the black community. You need to go to somebody that has an audience that relates to the black community. Okay, so niche films, trying to find those films. So you might need an organization like myself, like ourselves, like Issue Studies and others, to actually finish. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so niche, have a film exhibitor that can bring that audience to your film and support your film. Okay, and also try and engage younger audiences as well. Okay, I love getting younger people in my screenings. Okay, so we can hear that youth element and the youth voice as well. Okay, marketing and promotion. So finding people with large mailing lists, people that can promote and show your film, promote your film, can be a challenge as well if you don't know how to market and promote films. Okay, and also technology and infrastructure, access to cinemas. Okay, I remember I secured a film about Nina Simone. Who knows Nina Simone? Who's heard of Nina Simone in here? Yeah? Majority of people in here know of Nina Simone. I remember I found this amazing documentary about Nina Simone, and I've shown this film so many times in London. All cinema screenings sold out. Yeah? All sold out. Went to a cinema in Birmingham. Imagine, Birmingham. And they're like, oh no, I don't think you'll get audience for that film. Nina Simone! In Birmingham! You can't, I can't fill a screening of 100 people about Nina Simone. Really? And I just thought, you know what, obviously my services are not for you, and I went elsewhere. Yeah? So imagine having access to a cinema where you're trying to sell a cinema, you show the film in London, film has been amazing, sold out screenings, here's all the pictures, here's the evidence, and they're like, no, we don't feel that film is going to be sold out. Or you're not going to get an audience for that film. Or, when you want to go to cinemas and show the film, they give you the graveyard shift. Yeah, some late times. Or, and the late Menelik Shabazz, anybody know about him? When you go for a cinema, they give you some crazy times to show your film. So that's going to impact on the audience that will come and show your film. Or you send the posters to the cinema and they don't even put the posters up. You turn up to the cinema, you're not even advertised on the outside. Okay? So these are some of the things that we go through as film exhibitors. Programming balance. What did I say about that? Need to curate a mix of films that are artistically valued, but also commercially valuable. Because some of the films that you show, you may not know you're going to get a big audience, but you want to show the film. The film is amazing. You love the film, you love the artistry, you love how they made it, they love the story. You know all the film buffs in there, I don't need to tell you, because you already know. Yeah, you love the film, but you want an audience to see the film. But it's very niche. But the people that you're showing the film don't see the value in that film, and that can be a challenge. Okay, and then also you might have to keep up with accessibility standards like subtitling. Even now, there's apps and things that you can get subtitling, but before you couldn't get these things. Okay, and that will cost a lot of money. Okay, and then also community engagement, making relevant and meaningful connections with the community. And that's an evolving process. You've got to be constantly doing this all the time. Lockdown had a detrimental impact on people. Yeah, and we're still recovering from 2020. Yeah, so all of these things about getting people out of their houses, yeah, away from their streaming and coming to a cinema and be around other people. Yeah, that is a challenge for a lot of people. Okay, and then also finding people to host Q&As and additional events to make the event nice and sexy and bring more community engagement to your event. That can be a challenge for film exhibitors. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom, because you have organisations like New Black Film Collective and others aiming to bring change. Yeah? And all of you in this room are change makers. Because all of you have got a network and access to people to tell people about the work that we do at New Black Film Collective. So please, go and tell everybody about the wonderful work that's been happening this week. Go on tweets, Facebook, all of these things, TikTok, TokTik, all of these things that you lot do, Snapchat, all of these things. Get this information out there and tell people about this festival. So next year, we can have this in the O2. Yeah? How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's me. Thank you everybody for listening. So like I said, support black film exhibitors. Share our stories on film. Yeah? We've got to share our stories by any means necessary. Every day, not just in Black History Month. Okay? So if you want to come and find me, just put in Black History Studies, my head will pop up. Okay? And all the social media will come up and I'll be here for a hot moment because I've got another few meetings because you know the work continues. We've got to do the works. Okay, so yeah, just thank you everybody for listening to me. My name is Charmaine Simpson. Any questions or comments about my session today? Thank you. Thank you.